back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a Kim Kardashian inspired makeup look, but I wanted it to be a bit different, so I've actually incorporated recreating some of her recent Instagram photos as well. This is kind of tricky, and I have kind of challenged myself because she was in Tokyo for a lot of these photos. I am in Brighton in England in raining like the UK. Like, it just looks nothing like Tokyo, but a lot of them were in hotel rooms, so I think I'm just going to challenge myself and we're going to do it. But it's more just the vibe of the photos and like props she's used and angles, and also editing. I'm going to try and edit photos to look similar to her feed right now, which is looking like this. I love this kind of vibe she's got going on. I don't think it's something I would necessarily do on my page, but I love it. I think it looks really bomb. So if you do like this kind of vibe, I'm going to try my best to recreate this kind of effect on photos. If you like this kind of theme, you can have this theme yourself. So let me know if you like this kind of idea of a video, and I can definitely do more. So let me know, and also let me know who you want me to do next. But let's get to it.
Okay guys, so starting off with moisturising my face with the Rodial, this is like the Snake Booster Moisturiser. I really like this for a base. Then for primer, I'm using these L'Oreal ones. First of all, this is a pore minimizing one, which I'm putting in the centre of my face. And then this next one is an illuminating, look at it, it's really freaking illuminating. It's really bomb. I've been using it loads recently. I really like it. So I'm just applying that, I mean, to be honest, kind of all over my face, but just avoiding that pore area around my nose. Then for foundation, I'm also using the L'Oreal Infallible Stick foundations. I love this. It's so nice. So first of all, for my actual base, I'm going in with shade 180. Just all over my face as a base. My skin's been so bad recently. I don't know what is wrong with my skin, but I just keep getting so many spots. I just don't know where they're coming from. But anyway, this is pretty good coverage as this foundation. So I put on like a layer like this all over and use my beauty blender to just pat it in. And then once I've done that, I just go in with a bit extra if there's any areas that need a bit more coverage. But we are going to be going in with concealer anyway, so it gives a really, I mean, you can see, like, look how nice the base is. It's really like nice natural, but a little bit, I think, a little bit dewy finish to it. I really like it, like a lot. And then once I've done that, I'm going in with the same product but in a darker shade. This is shade 220 to contour my face. So my cheekbones, my forehead, my jawline, and a little bit under my nose and under my lip. Then I'm taking this Blank Cosmetics contour brush and I'm just patting it in. I'm kind of patting it in with this to start the blending process, but I like doing it this way because it keeps it very much like in the right place. So it looks a bit grey at first, like, whoa girl, are you going to blend that contour? But I just think if you do it this way first, it just helps it stay where it's supposed to be. And then once I've done it with the brush and it's like softened and blended a bit, I then do go in with my beauty blender to like pat over it all and make sure it's blended more. But then I am going to go in with my concealer, which is my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. And I'm applying this under my eyes, my forehead, like in between my eyebrows, like this kind of area, and down the bridge of my nose a tiny bit. And also don't forget your chin strap. And I also go underneath the contour, just like crisp it up a tiny bit, so it keeps it like nice and defined and nice and clean. And then again, taking my beauty blender to go ahead and pat this in so it all blends out really nicely. Once I've done that, I'm going to be setting it with my Rodial Translucent Powder. This is my favourite setting powder. So just tap out any creases and then apply some. I didn't use loads of powder, like literally just to set it so we don't get like mascara. And also I set any areas where I have spots. Then to deepen up and bronze the face, I'm taking the KKW Beauty, this is the contour kit in dark, or is it medium? I can't remember which one it is. Which one is this? I think it's dark. No, it's medium. No, it's dark. Oh my god, make your mind up. Use the brush it came with. I'm not that keen on this brush particularly, but I really love the contour kit. It's really nice. So I take the darkest shade first to kind of just define the contour, and then I flip the brush over and use the more orange side. I kind of almost use this as a blush to like warm up the face, and it looks a bit scary because it's very orange in the pan, but it's actually really nice. Then I took a small Blank Cosmetics, this is from that same marble set, and I took the same shades, so those two shades from the KKW Beauty Contour Kit, and I buffed these over my eyelid with a pretty like all over the lid all over the crease, in this inner corner, just all over. But because we're using a fluffy brush, it gives you more of like a wash of colour. I feel like Kim always kind of, well, recently, she always has like a quite a mono, like chromatic kind of look where you can tell that whatever's been used on her face is also on her eyes, and I love that. I do that all the time anyway, so that is what I did. So I just buffed it all over. As you can see, it's a super nice colour when you mix them together. It's just like the perfect shade in my opinion. Then back to the face, I'm taking the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter. I actually used this for the first time the other day and I hated it. I was like, oh my god, I don't like it at all. And then I used it today and I loved it. So this is what it looks like. It's beautiful packaging. I just wanted to show you next to my Maybelline Molten Gold, because that's what I usually use. And you can see how much lighter it actually is than the Molten Gold, which I usually use. I think the key with this is I use like a duo fiber brush and I really buff it in. I think you really have to work with it to like buff it into your skin so it melts into your skin rather than sitting on top of your skin. That's what I personally found. But once you buff it, like look at it, oh my god, once you buff it in, it's so beautiful. It's not like any other highlighter I have. It really does make your face just glow. Like obviously it looks highlighted, but it just looks so like glassy and glowy. Like I really like this a lot. So yeah, just keep buffing it in. That's what I did, and down this bridge of my nose as well. Look, it's so glowy. Oh, okay. So then back into the eyes, I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the brown black eyeliner, and I'm using that to create like a very small wing and line the lash line and tight line. And then I'm using this angled, like flat angle brush to like kind of almost smudge out a wing. So it just gives us some nice definition on the eyes, but it's nothing too crazy and it's still very soft. This is my favorite way personally to wear a kind of wing. This is like my favorite makeup anyway. I wear this kind of makeup all the time. So yeah, you just kind of smudge it out, creating that wing shape, and just keep applying until you're happy with the depth of colour you have. But apply some, smudge it out, apply some more, smudge it out until you're happy, you know, because if you go in too ham in the beginning, then it's quite hard to blend out. So you just want to do it gradually until you're happy with the depth of colour that you have. Then for my brows, I'm taking my Anastasia brow powder. This is in the shade Ebony on the Anastasia, I think this is the number 12 brush. And I'm just going to fill in my eyebrows. I'm just going to fill in my eyebrows how I normally do. I'm not obviously trying to copy Kim's eyebrows at all. I'm just filling my eyebrows in as Tashie's eyebrows, you know? I'm not trying to like properly look like her. We're just doing an inspired look. So I'm not trying to say I think I look like Kim Kardashian, because I obviously don't look like anything like her. So yeah. Anyway, so fill in the brows, brush them through, and then we're gonna just skip through the other one because it's the exact same. I then went ahead and applied that same Amrezy highlighter to my brow bone. Oh, it's just so freaking glowy. Look at it glow. It's so like, ugh. And I also put this on the inner corners of my eyes as well, just so they kind of were bright and popped. Then I set in my face with my Pixie Mist Glow Mist, which is my fave. I just love it. It's so good. I've gone through like 3 of these already. And then I just use my beauty blender to just kind of tap very lightly over when I've just sprayed the mist, because it just kind of makes everything, I don't know, just try it. It's really good. Then I'm taking my Benefit Gimme Brow just to brush my brow hairs up and just set them in place. Then for mascara, I'm taking my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. As always, I never use anything else. This is just my jam. I use it all the time. So just applying mascara. You can totally wear lashes with this look, and Kim has got much longer lashes than me. I don't know how often she wears lashes, but personally, I'm just not really a massive fan of false lashes, like, often. And I also just had an LVL, so I didn't really want to put lashes on. So yeah. Then moving on to lips, I recently got this, well actually this morning when I filmed this, I got this Buxom Plump Line lip liner packet. Oh my god. Guys, you know how much I love lip liners, so when this arrived I was like, oh my god. So I thought, well, I might as well use one of these. So I decided to go for, first of all, the shade Incognito. And I lined my lips and kind of filled them in, but basically these have got like a pencil this side, and then the other side they have got like this brush thing. So I went all around the edges and kind of blended them a little bit, and then used the brush to further blend them in. And then I wanted to deepen it up a bit, so I went in with Undercover, which is like a darker, more like a brown colour, to go around the outline of my lips, just to make them look a bit bigger and plumper. So around the edges, and then also used the brush to just softly blend it in, so it still had, you could still see the edge was a bit darker, but not massively. And then finally, I went in with the shade White Russian to just add to the centre part of my lips to make them look more, even more full, you know, and then blended it in. And then once you've done that, that is the finished makeup look. So I really hope you liked this makeup look. But now we are going to get into recreating the photos. So the first photo that I'm going to be recreating is this one here, where she is in a hotel room eating noodles and she's actually topless. And I was like, that's not really my jam, like I'm not going to be topless, even though you can't really see, it's still not really my jam. So obviously I didn't do it topless, but I needed some noodles. So here's a pot of noodles. They literally had just cooked. Look how hot they are. When I held them out, the steam just like burst out onto my face. I was like, ah, it's hot. So basically what I did is I sat down at my coffee table kind of thing. I put my phone camera in this. I wanted to make this like as easy as possible for you guys to do. So I put my camera in my kind of that stand that you just saw. I can't remember what they're called, Gorilla Pod. And then as you can see, I put it on self timer. I sat in front of there and just kept taking photos. I decided the way that she had done it didn't really look as good for me, so I decided to go for more of a side shot, as you can see I'm doing here. I just think it looked way better, and that the highlight really popped and it looked really, really cool. So that is the look I went for. So obviously it's not identical to her photo at all, but it is inspired by her photo, because if I hadn't have seen her photo, I wouldn't have gone for this setup and the noodles, even though I have done noodle posts before, but not like this. So I decided to go for this shot right here. I then put it in Facetune, and I just used the heel tool to get rid of any spots or blemishes that you can see. I do really like the heel tool over smooth. I like to just use smooth, like maybe a little bit under my eyes here, but nothing crazy. I went ahead and detailed my eyes, and then I also structured them to just deepen up the lashes to make them pop a bit better. I did also put it on my eyebrows, but then I deleted it because it was like made them really dark. I detailed the jewellery and the noodles, so everything just kind of popped. And then I went ahead and cleaned up by whitening the background. You don't need to do this because hers is obviously a dark background, but I just wanted to keep the photo as clean as possible. And to me, if you start off with a white background, it's much easier to edit the photo with filters after. So I just went ahead and did that, and that is the before and after from Facetune. So you can see the eyes just like pop a bit more, they're a bit more enhanced. Then I saved that and I went ahead and put it into Instasize, and I used the filter F1, but I brought it down a bit. I thought this had a really similar vibe to hers. I did go ahead and bring the exposure down, the luxe down, the sharpness up, the tint really up, which looks too pink right now, but I wanted to put another filter on it, so I made sure it was more pink than I wanted it to be in the end result. I also went ahead and added some grain. Then I put it into a Visco cam, and I knew that I wanted to use the filter P5 because I feel like it's got that blue vibe, which hers had. I feel like it looks very, very similar to hers. I think she does maybe use this, so I just brought it right down to around 6.8, and then this was my before edit picture and this was my after. So this is the finished picture result for that one. Moving on to this picture right here, she's actually sitting on a stool, which I didn't have, so I just stood, and I wore a very similar top to hers and black trousers, and I just stood in front of the mirror. So you can see, like, this is me standing in front of the mirror here, and then to the right, this is obviously my actual phone screen of me taking the photos. So I started off like this, and then I also I basically did the same facial expression, but obviously I'm not sitting, but I still think it's got a similar vibe. And then I went ahead and put my lights behind me, which I think actually looks really, really cool. And even though this isn't the same as her photos, I think I would maybe be more likely to use one of these photos than the one I chose, which is most similar to hers, because I think these came out really cool. Like this one particularly, like I think that looks quite cool, so I might personally use that one on my Instagram, but it's not the one obviously I chose of hers because it wasn't the most similar. I just thought it looked quite cool. So the one I chose to use for hers was this. Well, these were the options that were like the ones that were kind of similar-ish. these are the ones that weren't similar, but I did actually really like this one, for example. But I decided to go with this one, and I'm just showing you that all I did in here was whiten the background. This is the before, and then this is the after, so you can just see I've only whitened the background. That's literally all I have done. Then I went back into Instasize and I tried F1 again, but as you can see it was totally not the right filter for this particular photo, so I decided to go with H3. I just brought it down so it wasn't so intense, and then I went into bring up the lux slightly. I sharpened it slightly, as always. I pretty much always sharpen my photos. I also went ahead and added a little bit of the tint to make it a tiny bit more pink, and again went in with some grain just to give it a bit of a more edgy feel. And then I also played around with the highlights, just brought them up slightly, and then I decided to just turn the saturation down a touch because it looked a little bit too, I don't know, it just looks, yeah. So this is the before and the after, and this is the photo I came up with.
Okay, so the last photo I'm going to do is the lip one. She's got like a glossy lip, so I'm gonna go for, I think, one of these new Nip+Fab ones that came. Like, I think this one's, it's got like a really nice pink tone to it. It's a lip topper, so I'm just literally going to put it over what I have, but it's like a really nice like pink. Can you see? It's like pink iridescent. I think it's going to look really nice and perfect for this photo. This is the shade Shooting Star. I haven't tried it yet, so you know me, I'm not really a glossy lip kind of girl. So let's see what it looks like. This wig is giving me such a headache, FYI. Whoa. I feel like when you first swipe it on, it's quite like sparkly, and then it kind of goes more like a gloss. But we'll try. So let me just look at this photo again. This is such a random video. Okay, yeah, you can see a bit of hair here, and she's kind of like only half her lips in. She's kind of doing that. Okay, let's try.
Okay, so I started off using the front camera just to see if I could get the look. I look so weird doing this, it's not a very natural pose.
I feel like it just looks very dark. Maybe I need to use flash. Let me try the flash on.
So I tried first of all with the front flash, like still the selfie camera.
It still doesn't look quite right. Okay, maybe I need to use like the front camera. So if you have a mirror, like I've got a mirror here and I'm going to use that so I can see where the camera is. And let's try, because this front flash is going to be brighter.
So I tried with the front flash, and yeah, I'm just using a mirror so I can see where I'm pointing the camera.
Okay, it's definitely with a flash. Can you just see how that, it's not right, but it's way more like what hers was like. Okay, let's continue. Okay, it's too close. Let me go back. Okay, it's more subtle. I'm doing it screwed up too much. And I'm a little bit maybe too close.
The struggle was real with this one, guys. Like, you would think it would be really easy, but I think this was actually the hardest one to try and recreate because I really wanted to get this one like spot on. So I just kept playing with it. The front flash, I mean the back camera was definitely the one with the flash. So yeah.
Oh, that's quite cool. This is like the hardest one.
So I had a few options to go for. These are the options I picked out of like my favourites. There's a couple I liked, like I do really like this one, and I also do quite like this one, but I think this one was like the closest in my opinion. So I went in with the heel tool, and I actually realised I didn't really need a heel, but I needed a smooth. Like with that flash on, like you could just see like every peach fuzz hair on my face. So I went in with the smoothing tool, and then I also detailed the like highlight sparkle bit on my lip. And I also went ahead and detailed the jewellery and stuff. I mean, not that much. And then I also went in with structure on that kind of sparkle on my top lip as well. To be honest, I didn't really feel like it was doing that much, but it's definitely going to make it pop. And then just sharpening. And then I went, that's the difference so far. And then I also went in and put a bit of structure like on my jawline to like make it look a bit darker and a bit more shadowy. I mean, it did a little bit, but not massively, but a tiny bit different maybe. and detailed the hair and everything as well. So this is the before and after. I mean, it's not that different. Then I went into Instasize and I used F1. Oh no, I couldn't decide on this one. I was going through a few because I couldn't really find one that was spot on. But I did end up going back to F1 and just brought it down a bit. I brought the exposure down eventually quite a lot actually. I also brought the luxe up a little bit. I sharpened it a bit. I added a tint to it as well. And I added the highlights just up a bit, so it kind of made it a bit darker as a whole. And I also added some grain as well. And then yeah, see here I go back and I put the exposure down even further than I did originally. So yeah, so then I went ahead and saved that, and then I had this, and then I was like, the hair's just too purple, like because I'd filtered it, it was too purple. So I went back into Facetune, and I went to paint, and I went to tone, and I put this pink tone, and I brushed over the hair like so, just roughly, and then I just went in and erased the over bits. I went over the line. And then I also then went ahead and turned, obviously this is at full whack, and I used the scrolly bar just to turn it down to make it look a little bit more natural, you know. So yeah, I just went ahead and put that down a tiny bit to where it looked better, and I also then went ahead and erased just some bits so it looked more of a natural finish. So that was the before and after, and then this is the finished photo.
Okay, so this is the finished look, guys, and that is how I would do the photos. Let me know in the comments if you do like the idea of this kind of video, and I would definitely do more because this was super fun to recreate. And that's everything from me today, so give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Did I already say that? I can't remember. But I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys!